one of Rocket League's most elusive playstyles. Unused for its lack of effectiveness on the field. A skill so exotic in almost a 10-year history of the game has practically no content. In this guide, I will be explaining the sacred art of backwards dribbling and bounce dribbling.
So why make the video? Well, it's because I've been plagued with injury recently and I've spent a lot of time in bed recuperating. Most importantly, I've been struggling with hand problems. You know, hand problems. Gaming too hard for long hours, eventually you get injuries, and that's what I have. Gaming's hard with hand injuries.
So essentially, to summarise, carpal tunnel syndrome. As gamers, you would have definitely heard about it. It's based on a lot of repetitive movements. The carpal tunnel inside your wrist, it swells up and it puts pressure on the nerve. And when it puts pressure on the nerve, it causes eventually tingling, numb sensations and a lot of pain when you're gripping. That's essentially what I have. I've been resting it on and off, but I feel like I've left it a little bit late. So the other situation I've got is another syndrome called Decavan's tenosynovitis. It's a painful condition that affects the tendon that runs through another tunnel that's on my thumb. So on top of having problems with all my fingers and the tingling sensations, I have a problem with my thumb and pain that goes all the way up to my forearm. Same hand, the dominant hand, and what can you do if you can't play games with your one good hand? So that's essentially why, it's not the only injuries that I've received in the last say 6 months or so, but the hand injuries aren't healing at all. It's really annoying. So to summarise, this is a photo of my injured hand, this is a photo of my injured thumb, this is a photo of my injured knee, this is a photo of my injured foot, and this is a picture of my cat. Looking good! So after months of being in bed, hoping that the hand would heal itself, I got fed up. I'm starting up Rocket League, man. And I play it. I've only got one working hand, my left hand, but I'm determined, and that is what I use.
So how could I even conceive this idea? Driving backwards? Who would think of that? Well, in a nutshell, it's normal. Normal for me. I have a history of learning normal things in strange and unique ways, one of which is my bicycle, my BMX. I like to ride it backwards. It didn't take very long to learn, but it's not things that people normally do, and I pride myself on that.
And also, big fan of anime, shout out to Naruto. I like to practice hand signs. I wanted to see if it was possible. I wanted to see if it was viable in game. I wanted to see how far a solid 30 days of training would get me. And more importantly, I wanted to play my homeboy, Rocket League.
Dun, 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 dun. So, what did I want from playing it? Well, I wanted to get good, kid. Get good.
I wanted to make content for my channel, and I wanted to help encourage a new age of backward driving nutters and show how useful it can be in the game. The game's very one-dimensional. We all know how to play it, but we don't know how not to play it. And that's essentially what I'm doing. Add it to your arsenal. Nope, not that arsenal. Essentially, you will be part of one of the elite few with the riff. and if used, it will add more dimensions to the game.
Just like a community that supports extra game modes, Heat Seeker, the Freestylers, or even Workshoppers.
There's also a challenge at the end which I'm sure will raise some eyebrows.
With that being said, let's get into it.
Day 1.
So when I try anything, I always go in headfirst in the deep end, and it always ends up with frustration and disappointment. You know, the old, I ain't doing this no more. You know, idiots learn this stuff, this is stupid.
But from years of playing Rocket League, my ceiling and pop-up's pretty wild, but the floor is literally non-existent.
God.
So we hop onto free play for some backwards driving practice, and this is what it looks like.
As you can see, it's not great, but I'll be honest, it was exciting, and I'll play Rocket League anywhere I can get it, even if I was playing with my feet.
Woo! Oh yeah!
Day 2. So I hop straight back into free play and grind. But after a while, I realised it's way too hard to get good at. Starting from 0 to 7 out of 10 is not the way to go. I need baby steps. I need to learn Rocket League again.
So, I didn't know where to start. I daddy googled backwards dribbling training packs. I found 3, entered the codes and downloaded the packs, and got to work on the art of Get Good Kid.
Within an hour of practicing this training pack, I completed 3 out of 10. That is when I knew that I was onto something with this training, and I called it a day. So it's worth mentioning that you should use ball cam dribble, because as wild as it sounds and how it looks, it is actually easier. It's easier to get used to, it's a fast learning curve, and I'm playing with one hand. So bear in mind I don't have access to the thumbstick or whatever you have your setting to be for rear view looking. Day 3. I completed shot 4 and 5 out of 10, making good progress. Only day 3. Day 4. More car control. I got more car control on free play and training. Day 5. To keep things interesting, I use workshop maps. If you have them, then it's recommended.
So if you're on console, try to keep it fresh. Rocket Lab maps are the closest thing to workshop maps. They range in shapes, sizes, there's obstacles everywhere. It's fun to play and it's different from your standard maps. So they've been around for a while, some of them have, but a lot of them have just been brought in. So you've got Pillars, Tokyo Underpass, Barricade, Basin, Colossus, Corridor, Cosmic, Double Goal, Galleon, Galleon Retro, Hourglass, Loophole, Octagon, Underpass, Utopia Retro.
My personal favourite is the Throwback Stadium. It's a bigger map, it's not your conventional size, and it's got room to fail and obstacles to help you, again, with these different scenarios.
If you're feeling brave, there are extra game modes such as Rumble, Snow Day, Drop Shot, Hoops, and there's other variants of maps like Starbase Arc. So don't burn yourself out doing the same thing and consider working on different aspects of backwards dribbling, such as
Ball control, bounce dribble, or even wave dash. For the power slide, I used DFH Stadium circuit and did laps from both sides, left and right, and just practiced power sliding with the ball cam on. Day 6, worked on free play, trying to hone the skills in, more creating real scenarios. It's a lot easier when you're doing training packs, so spent my time on free play. Day 7, I was stuck on 6 out of 10. I'd done 1 to 5 on the Jacko backwards dribble pack, but I was getting a bit restless, so I moved up to 7 and 8 out of 10, but I couldn't do either one of them. So we'll move on to day 8. And finally, I complete 6 out of 10 for the dribble pack. Day 9, back to free play and a variety of training packs, starting with Shimmy's backwards dribble playground. Even though the pack had a whopping 10-second timer, for each shot, I pretended the floor was lava and I dribbled it all the way. Surprisingly, it was much easier than the Jacko's map dribbling pack, and all 3 of the shots and the mirrored shots were completed in 7 minutes. Not bad, eh? Day 10. I only really had 2 training packs that were viable, that were purely for dribbling. The 3rd pack was next level, it was more for playing backwards in general, but I was focused on the dribbling aspect of it with the other 2 packs. Sadly, they were old and mirrored shots weren't implemented into training packs back then, so this means that if you wanted to get good and practice on both sides of the map for the shot, you would need to make 2 separate shots and manually create them both. In 2024 Rocket League, I could make a shot and it could be mirrored without taking up any extra slot.
This meant I could make more than 3 shots, more than 10 shots. How about we go all out and make a comprehensive guide that has everything you need? How about 50? With all of them mirrored? 100 then. And that's what I get to work on. As a long-time fan of the game and all things Rocket League, this is what I would have wanted from a training pack. The equivalent of training in the mountains.
I don't even know if I can make it, man, it's too steep.
The hyperbolic time chamber. Time skip level anime training.
Day 11. I've finished the training pack on free play and it's entitled Backwards Dribbling 0 to 60. Here's the code. The 0 to 60 represents a scale of 0 to 100 from the easiest to the hardest difficulty rating, with 60 being the highest for this specific training pack.
And now a rundown of the shots.
Shots 1 to 5 is standard straight dribble up to the halfway line. The first 3 you could potentially speed it to the net, in one rush before you lose control, but 4 and 5 require constant changes in speed to maintain control, similar to a standard dribble forward. However, it makes it harder by being unable to boost control to correct your positioning. So, as I mentioned before, you want to be doing this on ball cam. You can do it manually by pressing the thumbstick or your settings, whatever you've got for rear view camera, but you're best off doing it on ball cam because it's easier and it actually gives you more of a reference even if the camera is spinning wildly, you know, as the ball bounces on top of your car or behind your car. 6 to 8 creates more of an angled dribble rather than a straight on dribble and forces you to implement turning strats and interesting positions to start the dribble all around the pitch. 9 to 11 are extensions of the straight dribble as far back as realistically possible in a real game. Shot 12 features a dribble at roughly the furthest distance away from the goal on a standard map without it being too awkward. Shot 13 to 17 are 90-degree angled positions, requiring an immediate change of direction. The ball is slightly positioned away from the centre to force it in a direction to make it easier. (18) Unique angle, not as easy as it looks and requires a quick left and right directional change. Shot 19 to 21, 135-degree angle setups requiring sharper turns. 22 to 24 requiring a complete 180-degree turn. Although there is no mirrored variation for these shots, it's best to complete them from a left and a right setup just to get good with both sides. I personally am better with the right, but I'm almost as good with the left. So shot 24 is the pinnacle of this training map, and it is pretty ruthless. It requires immaculate ball control and car speed to 180 the ball before you go into the net. Personally, it's the hardest shot on this map technically speaking, as it requires pure mech. This is where you get good, kid. Get good. Hone the inner backwardsness, and it's really a rewarding shot to complete. Shots 25 to 27, they're wall setups, similar to an air dribble setup that requires you to make the right touch and then be able to chase it down to the ground to catch it.
So, just to quickly note that these shots focus more on the car positioning, the car speed and the finesse of the touch to get the ball off of the wall and to start a dribble, combined with the 1 to 30 dribble themed shots.
Shot 28, this is the hardest variation of the setup and distance combined, needing a quick setup, the right contact, avoiding falling into the net when you're making your way down, and a full court dribble, which is pretty ruthless, right? For shot 29, the ball rolls down the wall. As it meets the curve, you come to meet it. The angular car position will help set up a dribble easier. With shot 30, it's the same logic, however it requires a sharper turn to set the dribble up. Try to get it away from the wall for better progress.
So, shots 31 to 33 roll up fast against the wall. You'll need to use your car positioning and a slower speed to catch and keep the ball under control for the dribble.
Shot 34 and 35 uses height and speed to focus on the catching aspect of the dribble rather than the dribble itself. Shots 36 to 39 feature being mid-motion, catching a ball that's also mid-motion with the momentum that's going towards the goal. It also provides a strange camera angle as you're on ball cam and the ball flies over for you to try and learn and understand. Shot 40 features full speed from the ball at an angular motion of your car designed to hit the car and attempt to catch on the rebound. It can help identify many different speeds and positions to catch a ball while travelling at angle and speed. You'll be surprised what actually works here. 41 to 43. and 45 to 46 are wall bounce positions and reads, strong bounce reads, and hard speedy wall reads and reactions. Shot 47 may look easy and it can be completed doing a standard method. However, the intention is to single jump wave dash and catch it. Although it's a two-handed skill, because it requires you to press the A button to jump, it's worth learning and adding to the backwards arsenal. Shot 48, similar to 47, but requires a jump to catch it on the bounce and wave dash to get a clean catch.
Ooh, shot 49. Now we have the ultimate shot in this pack, so strap in guys. You're entering the squeaky thumb time.
It requires a triple backwards wave dash, a catch on the bounce to send the ball into the back wall or crossbar, an in and out recovery, and or an optional wave dash to gain speed, catch up with the ball, read the small bounce from the ball, and have the momentum and the angle to catch it for a dribble and take it to the net. So yeah, pretty ruthless, but fun as you like.
So it wasn't great on my bad hand, I'll be honest, but it's absolutely worth learning.
Shot 50, the final shot. Just as interesting, if not more, than 49, but you're positioned mid-air, and sadly the training settings don't allow you to position the car upside down, to the side, on the wall or the ceiling. It's a bit far-fetched as far as a realistic shot goes, but it's useful for the backwardsness. This shot requires boosting to the wall, landing clean on the wall, driving down backwards, utilising a curve dash, which I will explain, using that backwards momentum and speed to catch up with the ball before it hits the floor. Right, let's explain the curve dash. Normally it's done from the front, but obviously we're doing it from the back. You hold the left trigger and you're climbing down the wall, and as your wheels completely come off the side wall, so you'll have your front wheels still on the wall, your back wheels on the floor, and at that point it's all about getting the timing right. You just press A and essentially your back will lift up instead of the full car jumping, and at that point you position it for a wave dash. That's it, you just catch it on the wave dash. It might seem difficult and it might be kind of frustrating at the start, but I'm telling you, you'll have a lot of fun with it, and it's easy. It's easy to do, especially backwards without the boost control or anything like that. Yeah, you'll enjoy yourself, I'm sure.
And that commences the rundown of the shots. So essentially, if you practice this a little bit every day, I guarantee that you will reach this stage, complete this training pack, and become a backwards dribbling Chad. Starting my own training pack was a bit scary at the start, but it turned out great, and I'm glad that I made it. It's worth playing, you know, invite your friends, get some matches started, and start backwards dribbling each other. So a few weeks after starting this video, I saw a Rocket Sledges video on Backwardio, a player that plays ranked only backwards, and he's a baller. He's got a friend as well, so shout out to Backwardio and Backwaluigi. The team plays are awesome.
Also shout out to Mile, who was backwards dribbling and flicking in show matches on Johnny Dearest's channel. Hello. AKA JohnnyBoy_I. Back in the day, that was his signature move. You know, when he got more comfortable, or perhaps when he was losing, he'd just switch over to it, just backwards dribble, get into the setup and do a flick. And yeah, that's when it made me realise that deep down it was possible.
Well, I didn't think I'd be able to do it. So from history, ball cam dribbles were widely abandoned, with say a few others back in the day, mainly K-Dop, who was known for ball cam dribbles at the time.
Modern Rocket League players use it often now, to see around the ball, to see their opponents, and to eliminate the blind spot. So it makes using backwards ball cam dribble more practical for the same reason. You don't want to be making it too hard on yourself.
And a big shout out to Ashley as well, who was an A-level 1s player a few years back, got one arm and compensates by configuring important buttons which he can reach with his face. So take a look, guys. Absolutely unbelievable. Although I had already made good progress on the video by the time I remembered Ashley, I had to mention him because of how far you can push the human limits.
So almost every shot can be mirrored except for 1 to 5, 9 to 11, even 34 and 48 can be, but it's just a tiny difference. But I do urge you to do mirror on both 34 and 48.
Get good with it. Maybe try it in one sitting. When you get comfortable, come back to the chat, let me know how far you got in the pack, or post a time if you finished it. I want to know, let me know how you found the map. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you, seeing what the feedback is.
And yeah, just have fun with it. You'll get good with this map, I promise you. I completed the 50 shots in 3 hours and 37 minutes. I was just happy to have finished it at least once. There's no point making maps and then not being able to finish them yourself, what's that about? Day 13. I went back onto my dribbling pack because it's sick. I can't get enough of it. And I decided, I was going to make a bounce dribble training pack as well. Day 14. And by day 14, the backwards bounce dribble training pack was complete.
Here is the code. This rates at a scale of 0 to 60, just like the standard dribble. So let's break it down.
So shots 1 to 7, the ball will roll at the car and it'll help you set up a good bounce for the dribble. It's also important to note that just like a standard bounce dribble, try to attack the ball from an angle for efficiency, for better results, but also for all-round progress. Shot 8 is a tough angle, especially for a flat car. Creates a harder bounce dribble setup. Shot 9, harder to set up with a higher bounce, so timing is key. Shots 10 to 12 extend the distance of the bounce dribble around the first half of the map. 13 is a floating ball setup. Shots 14 to 17 are dribble setups facing away from the net and from awkward car positions with relatively quick ball speed. Shot 18 is a floating ball from further away, which gives you less momentum to keep a bounce dribble going. Technically, the rule of thumb is the furthest it is away, the harder it is to maintain the dribble, so a floating ball will increase that level of difficulty. Shots 19 to 24 are towards the car with various distances, particularly shot 19 and 21, the setups are facing 90-degree angles from the net. Shots 25 and 26 are 135-degree angle setups near the net. Shot 27 is a floating ball. Shots 28 to 32 are higher bounce reads from the first half of the map. Shots 33 to 36, the ball is travelling with direction to be caught on either the second bounce or controlled in a dribble position after the first bounce. So I'll be honest, it's much easier to catch the ball and have it bounce off the car for you to start the dribble than it is to somehow catch the ball coming from really high up, because the higher it is, the harder it is to catch it at the right angle. the window shortens. Shots 37 to 38, catching the ball into bounce dribble practice, same as 33 to 36. Shots 39 to 41 are wall bounce catches. .42 is a high bounce catch. Shots 43 to 45 are back wall and corner wall catch reads. Shot 46. So by now you're probably realising that the shot selection is very similar to the backwards dribble. With 46 in particular, the ball is aggressively hitting at your car. Instead of catching it like a dribble, what you want to do is just let it hit the car an angle and at a speed that's controlled enough for you to start the bounce dribble. Shot 47. The ball is heading generally in your direction. You want to beat it, catch it from the front instead of letting the ball fully go over you, and then start the dribble. Shot 48, you want to jump before it bounces, catch it into the wave dash and then start your dribble. Shot 49, it's a mid-air car positioning, requiring a quick boost to the wall with a clean landing and a climb down the wall into a backwards curve dash to be able to gain enough speed, catch up with the ball and complete the bounce dribble, similar to the backwards dribble pack. Shot 50, you want to take up off the wall backwards, read the direction of the side wall bounce from the ceiling, correct your positioning and recover with a backwards wave dash and give yourself enough momentum to start the final bounce dribble.
So there's also another skill that can increase the acceleration and speed when travelling backwards. This is the ceiling wave dash. It's the same as the standard wave dash, however requires more precision of the car whilst in the air and depends on gravity and expert positioning. You will need to build up enough speed that when you jump from the wall to the ceiling, you have enough momentum and direction to land on the ceiling for a wave dash. You'll need to land on the ceiling with the front wheels first, then dash into the acceleration. Because you are backwards, you are going to want to hold the left stick up, rotate the car easier when transitioning to the ceiling. The degree of difficulty is pretty extreme and you'll struggle most of the time, so just keep working on it and it'll be meta soon. Don't worry about it, guys. What?
Day 15.
And I gave it a go, and I finished it.
All mirrored except for shot 1, 3, 20, 24 and 31, which are almost completely straight. Some of the other ones have slight variations. I think it's worth doing. Bear in mind, try to aim for a maximum of 2 bounces on the floor between each contact of the ball for the best effect. And I finished it in a time of 1 hour and 2 minutes. Day 16. I completed the bounce dribble training pack in 1 hour and 11 minutes, which is not as great, but the consistency is definitely there. Also, like the backwards dribble pack, I rated the difficulty in the title backwards bounce dribble 0 to 60.
Also, as a side note, if you're wondering why I'm choosing different maps that aren't your conventional ones, maybe your RLCS ones, your Manfields, your DFH and your Neo Tokyos, for me, they're old and boring. I'll still play them when I'm on ranked and you know, you can't choose the map you want to be on, but the new ones that Psyonix and Epic have been bringing out are incredible. There's a reason why these maps are being brought out. Treat yourself.
For me, it's the same with cars as well, I'm just saying. The Dominus and Octane and Fennec are alright, even though I'm using it for this video, the Dominus. Bro, the other cars, just use them, you know, they're there. They're beautiful cars, just use them.
It's going to be beautiful. Beautiful.
After developing 2, I would say, pretty decent dribble training packs, I decided I was ready to work on another one. That was what was helping me the most, and I feel that it would help the viewers out as well, or anyone interested in learning the backward techniques of old. And got to work on a backwards dribbling 70 to 100, which is crazy off the scale.
So day 17, I carried on with training pack creation. And then did dribble pack practice.
So even though I was making crazy progress in the training, I wanted to see how things would work against someone that won't give me the time on the ball, like I've had already. So I arranged 2 10-minute games against the rookie bot and tested to see how far I'd come with my training and what I could do under pressure, so take a look.
So as you can see with the highlights, the ball control was there. You could tell that what I was learning was being utilised effectively, but without the capability of using boost. Essentially, the rookie bot was more like an all-star bot, and it would just charge me down all the time. You know, in an ideal world, I'd like to jump over the car, backwards wave dash, catch the ball, backwards wave dash, and then I'll be going 5,000 miles an hour backwards. But that's not the case. But it did teach me that it was definitely viable in an online setting against actual people, or even against the all-star bot. It's just that I'm not quite there yet. Day 18. More practice, and more importantly, testing out the new pack to see how I measured up with it. I'd only completed 27 shots at the time, and I thought I'd give them a whirl, mirrored front and back, and see how far I could get. Fortunately, I only completed 15 of the shots. Day 19. I finally finished the backwards dribble 80 to 100 training pack.
This is the code. It is brutal. Much more advanced than the previous packs, but it's immaculate. It really stretches out the limitations of backwards dribbling. Testing the human limit. And now a rundown of the shots. Shots 1 to 9 are chasing slow-moving balls that travel in the direction of the goal. By the time you catch up and dribble the ball, you will be facing the opposite direction. Shots 10 to 12 feature a corner starting position with a similar theme to the previous shots. Shot 13, the ball travels towards you from a direction, allowing you to run up and catch the ball. Shots 14 to 16 have balls rolling down the wall to be caught from an angle and dribbled various distances around the map. (17 to 19 feature corner and back wall setups with the ball travelling in your direction. You'll need to slow the speed to a stop to control and maintain an easier dribble. Shot 20, the ball moves quickly down the wall, forcing you to travel diagonally to chase and catch the ball to set up a dribble. 21 and 22 start with slow backboard bounce from a high, forcing you to quickly get into position for the catch. 23 to 25 have similar soft bounces from a closer and more awkward position, requiring you to travel at the correct speed and catch it from a side angle. Shot 26. The ball bounces off the ground and hits the back wall, and you've got to catch it, dribble it in a 180 all the way back to the goal. Shots 27 and 28 are strong rebounds off the wall and ceiling. (29) is a side wall to back wall read. You will need to adjust your positioning before the ball hits the floor and dribble it safely to goal. 30 and 31 feature a fast ball that needs to be caught immediately and redirected to the ceiling. This will then need to be carefully caught and dribbled to goal. Shot 32 requires quick speed and perfect car positioning, mostly resulting in an awkward catch and dribble. Shot 33 forces you to be patient to catch the ball and has the situation very close to the wall. Shot 34 is a wall roll-up that falls away from the wall. A delicate touch is needed for an ideal setup. Shot 35 and 36 are incredibly difficult technical catches. Dribbles are difficult to set up and start from the opposite half of the field. Shot 37 is a variation of the previous two, but from the back wall. The mirrored version has an easier setup because the ball lands further from the wall. Pinching or rebounding the ball against the wall is imperative. Shot 38 is a long-range missile bouncing off the side wall, corner wall and back wall. On shot 39, you will need to travel without flipping for 1 second to build up enough speed that when you transition into the wave dash, you will reach a faster speed quicker. Shot 40 is a slow-moving ball requiring a double wave dash to catch up to the ball. 41 is a fast-moving ball requiring a wave dash to catch up and either a clean touch or a rebound off the wall to start the dribble. 42 to 44 require a quick boost to the wall, rolling down with the car into a curved dash at the end to get to the ball. 43 will require a wave dash after the curved dash for enough speed to get there before the ball hits the floor. 45 is the same type of shot, but you need to curve dash off of the back wall. Landing a curved dash here is much harder to execute than on a side wall. Shot 46, after the curved dash, you will need to adjust the car's position towards the ball, then wave dash to get there with enough time to rebound it off the side wall and begin a dribble. Shot 47 is almost identical to 46, however, the car positioning will need to be diagonal when you drive down the wall, which makes the curved dash a bit harder. 48 can be done without a curve dash, but needs at least 2 wave dashes. However, a curve dash and 1 wave dash should be sufficient to get there in time. 49 requires more boost to land on the wall, and the ball is easier to reach if you implement a curve dash or wave dash. Shot 50 requires efficient and expert car control to take the quickest route to the ball. You will need to drive up the wall from the correct angle, keep the flip for the wave dash to reach the ball, and dribble it to goal. A ceiling wave dash into a wave dash will bring you straight to the ball, but it gets trickier with more inputs and yields a much lower success rate.
Day 21. Now, this is where we take it up a notch on the 80 to 100 dribble training pack.
So I drastically reduced all the timers for every shot to the absolute bare minimum, forcing you to race to the ball, instantly slow the speed or sharpen the angle of the first touch so that you can establish a stable dribble setup. I took on the challenge, and after hours of playing through the shots, I could literally only get as far as 35 out of 50 with mirrored variations.
Day 22. I got up to 32 out of 50. Whew, it's pretty wild. Day 23. Now, I watch a lot of speedruns, all games, categories, types. I'm literally watching videos all day. And eventually I found out about speedrun.com. So I had a quick gander at Rocket League. I saw the standard world record for the built-in training packs made by Psyonix. But found a category extension for the world record on a separate tab. And this is where I struck gold. Masters of their craft. Consolidating weird and wonderful skills. Old and new styles were there. But, hold on. Where is the backward dribble submissions? I mean, it's been around for years. Hence the original training packs are downloaded from 2017 to 2018.
So that was the new goal. And that would be the crowning achievement of progress from this endeavour. So let's do it. Let's get to work.
And I booted up the backwards dribble 0 to 60 pack, chose a shot with space around the pitch, and an easy restart, as they do on training packs, and I got to work practicing. Day 24. I carried on with the dribbling, hoping to get a good time. Shots 5, 9 and 11 are great because they offer a lot of space, but after a few hours I decided once again to start working on a new training pack. I had it in my mind, in order to get a solid world record submission, I would need to intentionally keep control of my dribble, so I made 2 shots with the intention of full court dribble, all the way around as close to the edge as possible, see if I could get it done. Because the whole process of me doing the dribbling was just keeping the ball on the car, and I didn't really have much control. It was just constantly recovering and improvising without like a direction, a specific direction. The intent for this training pack wasn't to score, and literally focus on honing in more control on the dribble and see if I could get this world record. Day 25. The next day I added more structured training with gradual increase in difficulty. 8 shots in total, 2 shorter width dribbles, 2 longer length dribbles, 2 diagonal length dribbles, and 2 full pitch circuit dribbles. Essentially they are laps, starting at a point and travelling to the opposite area and then back. You can make a U-turn and travel back to complete the lap there and back, or roll it up the wall, catch it and take it back. This pack is called Dribble Drills, in brackets not to score. And this is the code.
Despite how much progress I had made through the entirety of the training up to day 25, I struggled to make any progress at all with the laps. The ice was drying up, I was freaking out, everything I learned was straight out the window, I needed to do this now, and it wasn't working.
I thought I'd have another crack at the 80 to 100 dribble pack. This is how it went. Ultimately, I finished it in a whopping 4 hours and 28 minutes. Oh, wow. Just wow.
So, guys, use any cars you want. You know, the hitboxes might be different, but it will be quick to adjust because you understand the backwards dribbling mechanic. A longer car can make learning a bit easier because the ball has more of a hitbox to sit on. The Octane and Fennec are smaller hitboxes, but they're taller, and that will affect things like flicks. But we'll go into more complicated pros and cons of cars in the near future because there's a lot to unravel with it. You know, it's not as simple as just car and ball and then mechanics.
Day 26.
After 12 plus hours and constant attempts over 3 days, resetting the stopwatch on my phone endless times, I finally got a generational dribble. Over 1 minute. This is the clip. Having achieved that, I gave myself one more challenge.
Day 27, 28 and 29. The new challenge was the full circuit dribble. I'd made a map for it, that was the end goal, and that was the only crowning achievement I could think on top of everything that I'd done to demonstrate how much progress I've made in the last month. So here it is. Day 30. Final day.
And so it ends. a culmination of 30 days of training up in the Kranovi Mountains, developing secret martial arts. Get it? Martial arts? So, what's left to do? It's day 30, everything I've worked towards I've accomplished. Maybe I can top it off with something fitting that relates to a training pack I haven't utilised. And that would be the backwards bounce dribble training pack. Get a good time on it. I'll see how long I can keep up a one bounce dribble and end it on that note.
So I got to work in free play, and lo and behold, it was difficult, more so than the backwards dribble.
And I got a result. It was 30 seconds. It was very decent and I didn't put that much work into it. So the toll of 30 days of solidly playing anything, never mind the backwards dribbling, was difficult, very straining, but it was satisfying.
I think compared to the standard dribble, the bounce dribble required more precise movements. With the standard dribble, once it was on your car, it was a question of managing your speed. But with the bounce dribble, it's making sure that you can follow on from the next bounce, which is a lot harder than it seems.
So if you're wondering how long an average of training was for each day, it works out around 3 hours per day. It's quite a lot of time and everyone's got their own method of gaming, so I mean it's up to you guys. But try to do a bit every day or two. Or in between days, maybe do longer hours, so do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday for example, but just do them for longer hours so you don't have to do every day. But that's completely up to you guys. So 30 days of progression doesn't seem like much time. You know, I've been on this game for years and I've never learned as much as I have in these last 30 days that I have in them years. So keep that in mind. Just keep practicing regularly. That's what's doing it. That's what the separation is from them years to 30 days of solid training, is this 30 days of solid training. For me, like I said, 3 hours per day is quite a lot of time. Keep it fresh in the mind so that you can learn quicker. Because the longer you spend away from doing something, the more you revert back to where you were before. So keep up the consistency and you'll just learn faster. It's not just about Rocket League, it's about learning in general. And on that note, it's done. So there we have it. This is my first video, so bear with the structure, bear with the waffling. There are timestamps as well at the start of the video. If you want to skip to the training packs, 1v1 bar or dribble challenges, the timestamps are there as well. Finally, if you're interested in progression of any sort, so for Rocket League, mechanics, or gameplay videos, you know, subscribe to the channel, put the bell notification on, just so you get updated when it's there, because I'm not sure how long the videos will take, but this one alone took me 5 months of watching, playing, creating, testing, editing, sound effects, 5 months. This video needed to cover a lot because we're starting from scratch, so that's why it's so long. The future videos in relation to this will be a lot shorter because we've established the basics, the background. But any out of Rocket League progression videos or content will be on my second channel called Life of Wugan. They're both up and running now, but there's no video as of now for the Life of Wugan, so just keep tuned. Hit the subscribe and bell for both, and I'm going to bring you good content. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Tatty bye!
The legend of the Backwoods Chats is a long-forgotten story from ancient times. Most of the translations were lost, however, one scripture remains. It depicts 4 brave chats the likes of which has never been seen before. It declares, if you have what it takes, find the peak, find the glory, and go down in history.